Songs Above the Drumfire. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Songs Above the Drumfire by Grantland Rice. Beyond the Charge. Far to the right the big guns tell their story. For to the left the shrapnel hurtles by, singing again its song of death and glory, where in between the marching ghosts drift by. You, in the lines, still watch the vivid token, flashed through the dusk in all its crimson gleam. But here through the night we hold our sleep unbroken, dreamers too worn to dream. Here is the peace that passeth understanding, the peace that we have waited through the years. No more grim captains of the strife commanding, worn hosts to charge the battlement of tears. No more the heartache of a vain endeavour, into the storm of bitter battle drawn. Deep falls the night, where winds come whispering never, never another dawn. Never another dawn where, to eyes weary, the grey light steals upon the sleeper's rest. The tramp of feet, the call of bugle dreary, to end the dream or stir the dreamer's breast. Never another dawn with strife's tomorrow. The day is done, the last lone couch awaits. Here at the road's end of all strife and sorrow, safe through the twilight gates. End of poem. Read by Alan Mapstone. What's of It by Grantland Rice. Read for LibriVox.org by Alan Mapstone. Perhaps the time is nearing when we'll all go to the front. But what of it? The married man, the single man, the brawny and the runt. But what of it? Some 20 million now have gone, the bravest and the best, from every land beneath the sun to face the final test. Why should we hope to hang around within a downy nest? So what's of it? Perhaps when we are called to go, we'll find the game is tough. But what of it? We'll find our dreams are shattered where the hand of fate is rough. But what of it? We'll find that all our idle joys have come beneath a ban. We'll find our share of bitterness among the fighting clan. But was life made for a weakling, or was life made for a man? So what's of it? Perhaps among the fallen brave we'll find the grave is deep. But what of it? Perhaps in sombre no man's land we'll know our final sleep. But what of it? Since each of us owes God a death, and each has got to pay, why not swing out with valiant stride along the open way to where the great adventure waits this side of Judgment Day? So what of it? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Alan Seeger by Grantland Rice. Read for LibriVox.org by Larry Thomas. American member of the Foreign Legion, killed in action July 4th, 1916. Somewhere in France, where crosses lean above so many graves today, where faded lilies place their screen and summer winds kneel down to pray, you who first ventured overseas to watch at last the light grow dim, God must have sent his gentlest breeze to bring your spirit back to him. Somewhere in France, dust unto dust, you wait beyond the inn of life, where through the lone nights the guarding crust shuts out the clamor of the strife. But far above the crimson sod, no barrier your soul might stop, when from the great white throne of God you see the legion cross the top. A year ago today you knew the endless melody of song. You saw that summer skies were blue, that drifting summer days were long. You waited while the twilight's breath came crooning some old serenade to hold your rendezvous with death at some disputed barricade. Today the legion holds the line, unbroken by the driving mass, where you have helped to write the sign in dripping blood, they shall not pass. And now beyond the far divide, you see the starry flag advance among the millions who have died for love of liberty and France. The eagle's wings at last are spread above a never-beaten shield, where still among the deathless dead your specter haunts the clotted field. And borne afar on summer's breath, you send this message hurtling through, I had a rendezvous with death, I did not fail that rendezvous. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Over There by Grantland Rice. Read for LibriVox.org by Larry Thomas. As through the mists we looked and dreamed, how far away it seemed. Over there, the red flash of their cannon fire, the flame that lit some reeling spire, the mighty thunder of their guns, which sang the master song of death, the ghosts which met dawn's rising suns and drifted out on April's breath. Beyond dull sweeps of sky and sea, how far away it seemed to be, how far away it seemed, and then we woke and turned and looked again. And now where flames of crimson rise, how close to us, how near it lies. Over there, the red flash of their cannon shines upon the steel that arms our lines. The mighty thunder seems to be less than a half league from our clan, where fate has turned an ancient sea to something less than half a span, where sweeps of sky and sea are gone, where forming, storming lines rush on, waiting the day ahead until Old Glory crowns some battered hill. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Golf in Europe by Grantland Rice. Read for LibriVox.org by Larry Thomas. No more the mashie flicks the pill along the ancient green. No more the brassie's sweeping clout reshoes down the scene. But caddies for the player death among the shots that fly. The only divots they replace are where the dead men lie. Deep bunkered in the crimson trench, unplayable with gore. Their flashing irons leap to meet the cannon belching four. And where the shrapnel's long approach comes booming through the strife, the only par they dream of now is one more day of life. The verdant turf still winds afar, where April's fairway rolls, safe from the iron that today rips only into souls, and each man's drive shall come to rest within a trap so deep that nothing but the blade of God shall lift him from his sleep. And you who curse the cuppy lie or mourn your wretched fate because you missed a simple putt and marred your perfect slate, give one thought to their game today among the rotting dead, where in the wake of every shot, the dark green turf grows red. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Somewhere in Somewhere by Grantland Rice. Read for LibriVox.org by Larry Wilson. Somewhere in somewhere, where the drifting shadows creep, is there left a dreamless sleep? Somewhere beyond the borders of the flame-encircled land, where the weary make their stand, where the phantom fires of 8,000,000 ghosts are glowing, where the Marne and Meuse are flowing through valleys of despair, where they sing the endless glory of the nation's fearless men through the battle's crimson glare. But how about the millions who will never wake again? Somewhere in somewhere. Somewhere in somewhere you can hear the ghostly tread of the many millions dead. And I wonder if they wonder, as they wait by the land and sea, why it ever had to be. Is their sleep, I wonder, broken by the shells that echo, screaming day and night above their dreaming, hurling death across the air? The living know the glory of the charge by hill and glen, where the valiant-hearted fare. But how about the millions who will never care again? Somewhere in somewhere. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Songs the Soldiers Sing by Grantland Rice. Read for LibriVox.org by Ainsley Day. You will ever find him humming a song of war and battle bold. You will ever hear him strumming a lilt set in heroic mold. For when he finds the big drum gritting upon his nerves across the foam, he'd rather sing of someone waiting back at a place called home, sweet home. You'd think before some mighty battle, surrounded by the conflict's roar, he'd make the far-flung echoes rattle with songs of carnage and of gore. You'd think with wild enthusiasm he'd give vent to his final breath with something in a vocal spasm that ended victory or death. But when he hears the dusk winds bring some old dream from the heart of June, the chances are you'll hear him singing some long-forgotten foolish tune. Something to rhyme with summer posies of blue eyes in the twilight gloam of lips red with the flames of roses back at a place called home, sweet home. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Our Uncle Samuel by Grantland Rice. Read for LibriVox.org by Alan Lawley. He rarely starts off at top speed. In fact, his legs are often tangled. And there are other times indeed when everything he does is jangled. But though he flounders out the slope with awkwardness that won't diminish, you'll find on looking up the dope, they rarely hook him at the finish. Uneven, yes, as any rhyme, and although moving on intently, he seems to waste a lot of time, and does to break it more than gently, and though at times through awkward fits he seems to have no thought of winning, he has a knack of bunching hits before they reach the final inning. A queer old duck, our Uncle Sam, now busily pot hunting junkers. For form he doesn't give a whoop, so long as he can clear the bunkers. His style may be a trifle rough, and though he seems to move by inches, the old boy's got a lot of stuff when he is called on in the pinches. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
France by Grantland Rice. Read for LibriVox.org by Ingrid Falck. Who loves brave life through all the tides of time where valour holds review, craves only this, to send his humble rhyme across the seas to you. Where once again the winter drift rides down across your plains of red, and Christmas snows have once more placed their crown above your deathless dead, where, striking through for country and for home with valiant blow for blow, each young Marcellus builds a grander Rome than all the ages know. Though Homer lived to sing your mighty heart above the drumfire's roll, what words are there to tell in minor part the glory of your soul? You who have proved that life is king of death, that honour is no wraith, you who are giving to the final breath the fullness of your faith, once more the mantle of a Christmas snow drifts deep above each grave, blacker than night against the deathless glow above your fallen brave. Once more the moon of winter sends its gleam, where, paladin and pawn, each beau sabreur of valour holds his dream beyond the last white dawn. Where each gale sings its requiem today by spur and plain and tarn, and gentler winds kneel down at dusk to pray along the Meuse and Marne. Through all the grey ghost shadows that have crept where braver words belong, an humble singer asks that you accept the tribute of a song. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Peace for the Kaiser by Grantland Rice. Read for LibriVox.org by Alan Mapstone. Some day, when by dune and hill battle flags at last are furled, some day, when the drums are still, peace will wreathe a battered world. But when time has run its race, all the endless ages through, out beyond eternal space, say, what peace will come to you? While you live, through each black night, ghosts shall gather dripping red, blotting from your ghastly sight everything except the dead. Formless lines of murdered men, these alone will haunt your view. Peace is coming back again, but what peace will come to you? Through each day, though you may strive for a hiding place to shun, children who should be alive, laughing in the golden sun, when their white lips ask you, why did you war upon us too? When their wee ghosts flutter by, say, what peace will come to you? When you die, yes, graves are deep, but where lurking shadows dwell, broken forms will haunt your sleep, though your coffin rests on hell. Underneath the final sod, you shall pay the ages through. Peace is coming back, thank God, but what peace will come to you? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
"3 Years Ago" by Grantland Rice. Read for LibriVox.org by Larry Wilson. 3 years ago today, a sudden shadow came by land and sea. But all the groping millions went their way, or smiled and whispered, "It could never be." And they were right, for who was so insane to think the world could turn to blood and tears? The world that knew the sunlight and the rain, and all the golden visions of the years. 3 years ago today the shadow was no larger than your hand, and so from all the wondering array, how could it be that one might understand? Yes, they were right, the shadow soon must pass, for blood was still too dear a thing to flow like mighty rivers gushing in one mass to fill vast oceans waiting down below. 3 years ago today, 5 million men were living where tonight gray ghosts are groping from the shell-swept way to find their peace beyond the bitter fight. 5 million men were living who have died, and who must bide their time in unknown graves, because a mad king was not satisfied to sit content with 80 million slaves. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
A Message from a Front Trench by Grantland Rice. Read for LibriVox.org by Cavaet. When my time comes and all farewells are said, to what few friends may still survive the fight, I shall not shrink to hear the ghostly tread that signals death is stalking through the night, to lead me forth across the mystic moor unto the tavern of the silent land. But I shall smile, and through the open door we two shall go as good friends, hand in hand. There I shall meet the friends who've gone before, and we shall gather in a room apart, and cup to cup shall pledge the days of yore, soul unto soul and silent heart to heart. And there, beneath the crimson rose that nods and sways above us free from toil and strife, we'll quaff to you, forgotten by the gods, poor souls who linger at the inn of life. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Princess Pats by Grantland Rice. Read for LibriVox.org by Cavaet. Out of the original regiment, only 20 remain. No need to call the roll today, no need to read the scroll today, no need to seek for friends you knew among the first command. Small use, you know the rest of it, the worst of it, the best of it, where fate has written each address somewhere in no man's land. Somewhere in no man's land today you'll find the first command today. From Neuve Chapelle to Vimy Ridge, wherever they were sent, their share a triple store of it. They did their bit and more of it. So here's to 20 who returned where 1,400 went. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Into the Battle by Grantland Rice. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. Into the battle the trooper speeds, as the bugles call and the drums respond. Into the fight as the captain leads, where the low line waits on the hills beyond. Waits for the signal, then the crack of blue steel rimmed with a crest of flame. And few ride back on the homeward track, where many rode when the order came. Into the battle the trooper speeds, into the line where the rifle rings. But little the trooper hears or heeds the song of hate which the shrapnel sings, the roar of battle, the curse, the shout, the crash and clamor of friend and foe. The riderless horse that wheels about and gallops past to the plains below. For out from the smoke wreath far away he hears the patter of little feet, the dim far call of a child at play, with babyhood laughter low and sweet, the murmur of voices dream-swept far from the little path to the cottage gate, where eagerly under the evening star mother and child in the twilight wait. Into the battle the trooper speeds, but somewhere out from the far-off lands An echo drifts where a soft voice pleads, and the tender pressure of little hands, a mother's lullaby from the night, and a call to the great white God in prayer, that one will come from the far-off fight to those who wait in the darkness there. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
In No Man's Land by Grantland Rice. Read for LibriVox.org by Larry Wilson. In No Man's Land, I wonder if the gray ghosts meet when night droops down, to talk of charge and countercharge, of trench attack or blazing town, to laugh maybe at fear or pain they knew before the shrapnel sweep. Or are they now content to know a dreamless and eternal sleep? In No Man's Land, I wonder now if phantom millions meet at night to talk of old-time years at home before they toppled in the fight, of one who waited through the dusk when summer winds were on the wing. Or are they happy now to know the sleep that only graves can bring? I wonder if they ever dream of ancient field and country lane, of tangled roses by the gate, of one who now must wait in vain. Or do they dream of crashing on with old commands in some new fight? Or are they now content to know the sleep that lasts beyond the night? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Fallen by Grantland Rice. Read for LibriVox.org by Ainsley Day. For those who have fallen the living weep. Are they not asleep? They wait beyond where the shadows creep, but their dreams are deep. Since the way is short and the day is brief, why should the world so waste its grief for those who have come to the end of the play in the old brave way? They have come to die, you cry, agape at the rolling drums. What if they have? Will you escape when the hour comes? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Canadian by Grantland Rice. Read for LibriVox.org by Alan Lawley. He left the rivers that he knew, the mountains thrown against the sky. He left their valleys pearled with dew, nor paused to question or reply. He left his ghost, but as he fell, he left behind more ghosts than one, where striking with the force of hell, he gave his answer to the Hun. He left the far plains' endless track to take his place amid the slain. From Vimy Ridge to Lens and back, he left his share of crimson stain. He left his shattered soul to sleep in riven fields of gore and mud, but crashing through the rifle's sweep, he took his toll in Prussian blood. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
On Thanksgiving Day by Grantland Rice. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. With raw souls wrenched from the breast, each night in the trenches of blood, where 6 million skeletons rest, face down in the slime and the mud. Come, let us give thanks for the peace and the ease into which we are drawn, but give it so low that the dead will not know, nor the thousands who'll die before dawn. Where shrapnel sweeps earthward like hail, and even the bravest must reel, where myriad ghosts take the trail in the wake of the salvo of steel. Come, let us give thanks for the cheer that covers the land where we dwell, but give it so low that the ghosts will not know as they swing into heaven or hell. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Beyond the Barrier by Grantland Rice. Read for LibriVox.org by Cavaet. Upon our shield the staining rust had gathered deeper than we knew. Upon our blade the drifting dust had dimmed and dulled the ancient hue. And we have foundered through the pall as children who have lost their way. But somewhere underneath it all the vital spark still waits the day. The ruggedness of ancient mould was hidden then by softer dreams. The braver line we used to hold may waver where the red flash gleams. But when the showdown came at last, beyond control of pen or word, remembrance of a braver past came back to wake us up again. The ancient spirit of the clan may shrink at times before the call, bewildered in the waiting span before the rousing lash shall fall. For when the lights flare down the field beyond doubt's final barricade, the rust shall come from off the shield, the dust shall flutter from the blade. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Story of the Drums by Grantland Rice, read for LibriVox.org. What is the story of glory that comes from the roll of the drums? The echo of feet keeping time to the beat of men who are marching by crossroad and street, to the call that is echoed by land and by sea, for the fate that may be. And the story is this: they have come to the day when the big debt is due in the smash of the fray, and if it be only the death which they owe, or if it be only to suffer and grow, they are ready to pay. Even for those who are ready and strong, the road's none too long. Time moves on the fly as the seasons flash by, where the shadows drift in and the last echoes die, where each in his turn passes on through the gate to whatever may wait. And the story is this: when the hour is due, and it may be for me or it may be for you, today and tomorrow are one and the same, if we stick to the highway and play out the game, be it early or late. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Over the Border by Grantland Rice. Read for LibriVox.org by Cavaet. Johnny Poe, killed in action September 25th, 1915. Out from the darkness we come to the light, a dream in the sunlight, a breath in the clover. And then comes the call to the tavern of night, where the bugle is hushed and the war note is over. The roll call is heard where the troopers stand by, and tears for the silence where none may reply. Over the border, dim, starless and far, but where a brave dream and a spirit unbroken may sweep through the dusk by the last crimson star, and come to God's dawn for the last laurel token, over the border with right stalwart creed, and the clan of his comrades to give him Godspeed. Green be his couch where the white lilies lean, crimson the roses that keep guard above him, gentle the darkness that gathers between, the sleeper at rest and the torn hearts that love him. God give him refuge where life's flag is furled, a dreamer gone back to the dust of the world. Low be the lost winds of France that must creep over his rest in the last tavern lying. God send thy dreams where the darkness is deep, Father thy care when the wild storms are flying. No monarch comes but the soul of a man. We speak for a brother, for one of the clan. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Two Songs of the Field by Grantland Rice, read for LibriVox.org. The wind is hushed, but the guns are singing. Over the top, on down the field, on with the flags, where life is bringing the thrill that comes from the sword and shield. Over the top and on to the charge, on and on through the red barrage. We've cleared the road that is red and wet. We've opened the way for the bayonet. We've sowed to the wind, now reap the crop. Over the top now, over the top. The guns are hushed, but the winds are singing. Sleep forever, on down the field. On with your dreams, where death is bringing the beast that follows the sword and shield. Under the top of the crust that knew the thud of your feet when the guns got through. The charge is over, the fight is done, where silence sits on the smoking gun, where silence sits and the shadows creep, and the song of the guns can't break your sleep. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Home from the Front by Grantland Rice. Read for LibriVox.org by Larry Wilson. He has come back home asleep, and it cannot be except those who love him most must weep as the world has ever wept when her sons were forced to go. Yet where twilight's shadows creep, it is something just to know he has come back home asleep. Something just to know, but this, where so many come no more, feel no more the south wind's kiss, lost upon a distant shore, where so many seek the track leading home, but through dim tears, or some day but wander back to the heartache of the years. He has come back home asleep, yet within his resting place, from the outer darkness deep, love's pale lilies hide his face. And beneath blue summer skies, where he dreams below the sod, but a single rosebud lies, now between his heart and God. From the day gleam to the night he has passed, and yet afar he has found a greater light than we know from sun or star. He has found a rarer gleam where no weary tears may blur. He will know a sweeter dream where the wind-blown grasses stir. Where the red tide whirls and runs, he is safe now from the foe. Where the thunder of the guns is as soft as falling snow. And beneath blue guarding skies, where he dreams below the sod, but a single rosebud lies, now between his heart and God. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. End of Songs Above the Drumfire by Grantland Rice.